The unexpected arrival. The wind howled across the desolate research station, its metallic exterior gleaming under the harsh Atacama desert sunlight. Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted her protective gear, her dark eyes scanning the rocky terrain. Something had changed in the past 48 hours, a subtle shift that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. As the lead xenobiologist at the International Extraterrestrial Research Facility, Elena had seen her share of unusual discoveries. But this was different. The artifact they'd uncovered 3 days ago defied every scientific explanation she could conjure. Dr. Marcus Williams, the facility's chief physicist, approached her with a tablet in hand. His usually composed demeanor betrayed a hint of excitement and apprehension. "Elena, you need to see this," he said, his voice barely audible above the desert wind. The tablet displayed a series of complex mathematical patterns that seemed to pulse and shift almost imperceptibly. What had started as a routine geological survey had transformed into something extraordinary. The artifact, a metallic object roughly the size of a human hand, had been discovered buried deep within a previously unexplored canyon. "The resonance frequencies are unlike anything we've ever recorded," Marcus explained, his fingers tracing the intricate lines on the screen. "It's as if the object is communicating, but not in any language we understand." Elena leaned closer, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial caution. The patterns seemed to dance, creating complex geometric shapes that defied traditional mathematical models. Each time she thought she understood the pattern, it would shift, revealing new layers of complexity. "We've isolated the artifact in the maximum security lab," Marcus continued. "But something's happening. The research team has reported strange occurrences, equipment malfunctions, unexplained energy readings, even reports of, well, you'll think I'm crazy." Elena raised an eyebrow. Marcus was not the type to indulge in wild speculation. "Try me." He hesitated, then pulled up another set of readings. Some team members claim to hear whispers when they're near the artifact. Not actual words, but something that feels like communication. And look at these energy signatures. The data showed massive energy fluctuations that seemed to correlate with specific times of day, or more precisely, specific astronomical alignments. It was as if the artifact was responsive to cosmic events beyond their current understanding. As if on cue, a loud alarm began blaring across the research facility. Red emergency lights started flashing, casting an eerie glow across the desert landscape. Marcus and Elena exchanged a look of concern. "Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Williams, report to the containment lab immediately," a voice crackled over the intercom. It was Dr. Olivia Chen, their lead materials scientist, and her tone suggested something significant had occurred. Racing through the facility's sterile corridors, Elena's mind raced with possibilities. Years of scientific training fought against the growing sense that they were on the precipice of something monumental, something that could change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. The containment lab was a marvel of technological innovation. Multiple layers of shielding, advanced scanning equipment, and security protocols designed to handle the most unusual scientific discoveries imaginable. As they entered, the temperature seemed to drop several degrees. Olivia stood beside the artifact, her face a mixture of fear and scientific fascination. The metallic object now seemed to be emitting a soft, pulsating light, a light that didn't appear to come from any recognizable source. "It's responding," Olivia said, her voice barely a whisper. "To something." Before anyone could respond, the artifact began to vibrate. Not a mechanical vibration, but something more organic, almost alive. Complex holographic projections began to emerge from its surface, displaying star charts, mathematical equations, and what appeared to be fragmented images of landscapes from another world. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. They were no longer just observing an artifact. They were making first contact. "Nobody move," Marcus said softly, his scientific training battling against the overwhelming sense of wonder and terror. The artifact continued its mysterious display, hinting at secrets that would challenge everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. And this was just the beginning. Unraveling the secrets. The next 72 hours were a blur of intense scientific investigation and mounting tension. The research facility had transformed into a pressure cooker of speculation and controlled panic. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the center of a scientific storm that threatened to rewrite everything humanity understood about extraterrestrial intelligence. The artifact continued its cryptic display of holographic projections, revealing fragments of information that seemed to defy conventional understanding. Dr. Marcus Williams had barely slept, spending endless hours analyzing the mathematical sequences that emerged from the object. His usual neat appearance had become disheveled, wrinkled clothes, unkempt hair, and eyes that burned with an intense, almost manic focus. "It's not just a communication device," Marcus explained during an emergency briefing, his fingers tracing complex diagrams on the holographic display. "These patterns, they're more like a multidimensional language. Each projection is simultaneously a mathematical equation, a geographical map, and what appears to be a historical record." Dr. Olivia Chen leaned forward, her skepticism battling with scientific curiosity. "Are you suggesting this artifact is some kind of universal translator? A Rosetta Stone for extraterrestrial communication?" The room fell silent. The implications were staggering. If Marcus was correct, they weren't just looking at a piece of alien technology, they were looking at a potential key to understanding communication across entire civilizations. Suddenly, the artifact pulsed. The soft, ethereal light that had been emanating from its surface intensified, casting intricate shadows across the containment lab. The holographic projections shifted, revealing what appeared to be star systems completely unknown to human astronomical charts. Elena noticed something else, a pattern of subtle changes in the research team. Some members became increasingly obsessed with the artifact, spending hours analyzing its projections. Others grew withdrawn, experiencing headaches and inexplicable moments of disorientation. "We need to establish protocols," Elena announced, her voice cutting through the growing tension. "Limited exposure, rotating teams, comprehensive medical and psychological evaluations." But even as she spoke, she knew something fundamental had changed. The artifact was more than an object of study, it was actively engaging with them. Late that night, with most of the team retired, Elena found Marcus in the observation room. Multiple screens displayed endless streams of data, mathematical equations dancing across multiple monitors. "I think it's trying to tell us something," Marcus said, not looking up from his screens. "Not just information, a warning, perhaps." Elena studied his face. The brilliant physicist looked simultaneously excited and terrified. "A warning about what?" Marcus finally turned, his eyes reflecting the complex holographic light. "About something coming. Something that exists beyond our current understanding of space, time, and consciousness." The artifact pulsed again, as if responding to Marcus's words. On the screens, a sequence of astronomical coordinates began to emerge, coordinates that seemed to point to a location far beyond our solar system. Unbeknownst to the team, global intelligence agencies had already begun monitoring their research. Encrypted communications buzzed between shadowy government departments, each seeking to understand the potential implications of the artifact. Dr. Konstantin Volkov, a former Russian space program scientist now working for an international research consortium, reviewed the initial reports. Something about the artifact's energy signatures reminded him of theoretical work he'd studied decades ago, research that had been quickly classified and buried. "Interesting," he muttered, zooming in on a particular mathematical sequence. "Very interesting indeed." Back in the lab, Elena felt a growing sense of unease. The artifact seemed to be more than just a passive object of study. It was actively guiding their research, revealing information in carefully measured doses. As dawn broke over the Atacama Desert, casting long shadows across the research facility, one thing became clear: they were no longer in control of the investigation. The artifact was leading them somewhere, and none of them could predict where that journey would end. The first rays of sunlight caught the metallic surface of the artifact, and for a brief moment, Elena could have sworn she saw something move within its crystalline structure, a fleeting shadow, a hint of something alive. Their greatest discovery was also becoming their greatest mystery. The alien connection. The international scientific community began to converge on the Atacama Desert Research Facility. What had started as a secretive investigation was now becoming a global phenomenon. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the epicenter of a mounting storm of scientific and political interest. Dr. Konstantin Volkov arrived unexpectedly, his weathered face betraying decades of classified research and hidden knowledge. "You've discovered more than you realize," he told Elena during their first private meeting, his Russian accent thick with implication. The artifact had begun to reveal increasingly complex information. Mathematical sequences now intermixed with what appeared to be astronomical charts, biological diagrams, and fragments of what could only be described as a cosmic history. Each new revelation raised more questions than answers. "The coordinates it's been projecting," Volkov explained, spreading out a series of enhanced satellite images, "they point to a region of space that's been of interest to certain government agencies for decades. A zone of quantum anomalies that defies our current understanding of physics." Marcus Williams joined them, his eyes bloodshot from days of continuous research. "We've detected something else," he said, sliding a data tablet across the table. "The artifact isn't just transmitting information. It's creating a kind of quantum entanglement with our research equipment." Olivia Chen had been monitoring the biological impacts of prolonged exposure to the artifact. Her initial medical reports were troubling. Research team members were experiencing subtle but significant changes, enhanced cognitive functions, increased neural plasticity, and unexplained physiological adaptations. "It's as if the artifact is selecting," Olivia explained during a briefing. "Selecting and potentially modifying those who come into contact with it." Global tensions began to mount. Military intelligence from various countries started making discreet inquiries. The potential technological implications of the artifact were too significant to ignore. Some saw it as the greatest scientific discovery in human history. Others viewed it as a potential threat. Deep within the research facility, Elena discovered something that made her blood run cold. Hidden within the complex mathematical projections was a pattern, a recurring sequence that suggested the artifact was more than just a communication device. It was a kind of cosmic key, potentially capable of bridging vast distances of space and time. "We're being prepared for something," Elena confided in Marcus late one night. But prepared for what? The artifact seemed to respond to their conversations, its surface shifting with intricate light patterns that defied explanation. Sometimes, Elena could swear she saw complex biological structures forming within its crystalline matrix, fleeting images of landscapes, creatures, and civilizations beyond human comprehension. Dr. Volkov revealed a fragment of classified research from his past. Decades ago, Soviet-era scientists had detected similar quantum anomalies during secret space research programs. Those investigations had been abruptly terminated, with all records sealed. "Some discoveries are too dangerous," Volkov said cryptically. "Some secrets are meant to remain hidden." But the artifact had other plans. Its projections became more frequent, more intense. The research team began experiencing synchronistic events, shared dreams, simultaneous insights, unexplained connections that transcended normal scientific understanding. A global network of observatories reported strange astronomical phenomena coinciding with the artifact's increased activity. Quantum physicists worldwide began reporting unexplained fluctuations in their most sensitive equipment. As the pressure mounted, Elena realized they were no longer just studying the artifact. They were being studied by it. The final projection of the day was most disturbing. Confronting the unknown. The world teetered on the edge of a profound transformation. What had begun as a scientific investigation in the Atacama Desert had evolved into a global phenomenon that threatened to rewrite the fundamental understanding of human existence. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before an emergency international committee, her presentation a delicate balance between scientific precision and controlled urgency. The holographic displays behind her showed the artifact's most recent projections, complex biological matrices that seemed to bridge human and unknown extraterrestrial genetic structures. "We're no longer dealing with a simple communication device," Elena explained, her voice steady despite the immense pressure. "This artifact is a catalyst. It's actively engaging with our biological and technological systems in ways we're only beginning to comprehend." The committee room was a microcosm of global tension. Representatives from scientific institutions, military branches, and government agencies sat in tense silence. Dr. Konstantin Volkov, seated in the back, watched with a knowing expression that suggested he had seen this moment coming for decades. Marcus Williams stepped forward, presenting additional data. "The quantum entanglement we've observed is unprecedented. The artifact isn't just transmitting information, it's creating a form of communication that transcends our current understanding of physics, biology, and consciousness." Suddenly, the artifact began to pulse. Even from a distance, its energy rippled through the conference room. The holographic displays flickered, revealing a series of complex astronomical coordinates and biological diagrams that seemed to move and breathe with an almost living intelligence. Dr. Olivia Chen had been monitoring the physiological changes in the research team. Her latest findings were both exciting and terrifying. Team members were developing enhanced cognitive abilities, improved healing rates, and neural connections that defied current medical understanding. "It's as if we're being prepared," Olivia whispered during a private conversation with Elena. "Prepared for something beyond our current comprehension." Global observatories reported increasingly bizarre astronomical phenomena. Quantum fluctuations increased exponentially. Communication networks experienced unexplained disruptions that seemed to correlate with the artifact's activity. Deep within a secure military facility, a classified team began to piece together a more disturbing narrative. The artifact wasn't just a communication device, it appeared to be a kind of cosmic preparation mechanism. But for what? Elena discovered a breakthrough that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Hidden within the artifact's complex projections was a pattern that suggested an impending event, a convergence of cosmic proportions that would fundamentally alter human existence. "We're being upgraded," Marcus told her late one night, his eyes reflecting the artifact's ethereal light. "Genetically, technologically, consciously. But to what end?" The political implications were staggering. Some governments saw the artifact as a potential weapon, a technological breakthrough that could provide unprecedented advantages. Others viewed it as an existential threat to human sovereignty. Dr. Volkov approached Elena with a warning. "Some secrets are better left undiscovered," he said, his voice carrying the weight of decades of classified research. "What you're dealing with is beyond human comprehension." But Elena knew they had passed the point of no return. The artifact had chosen them, chosen humanity, for something greater. As night fell over the Atacama Desert, the research facility began to experience more intense phenomena. The very fabric of reality seemed to bend around the artifact. Researchers reported moments of shared consciousness, glimpses of potential futures, and connections that transcended individual perception. The final projection of the day was the most revealing yet. A complex diagram that merged human genetic structures with something entirely unknown, a blueprint of potential evolution that suggested humanity was on the brink of a fundamental transformation. "We're not just observing a discovery," Elena realized, watching the projection. "We're experiencing the first moments of a cosmic invitation." Outside, the desert seemed to pulse with an energy that defied natural explanation. Something was coming. Something that would challenge everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. And they were running out of time to understand it. The final revelation. The moment of convergence arrived without warning. What had been building for weeks suddenly crystallized into a reality that defied all previous understanding of human existence. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the epicenter of transformation, watching as the artifact reached its final stage of activation. The research facility in the Atacama Desert had become something else entirely, a nexus point where human potential and cosmic intelligence intersected. The artifact's energy had grown exponentially, creating a field of quantum fluctuation that extended far beyond the physical boundaries of the research center. Dr. Marcus Williams observed with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound existential terror as the holographic projections evolved into something more than mere communication. "It's not just showing us something," Marcus whispered to Elena, "it's inviting us to become something more." Global communication networks went haywire. Satellites captured unprecedented energy signatures that defied current scientific models. The artifact was no longer just an object of study, it had become a transformative agent, reshaping the very fabric of human potential. Dr. Olivia Chen's medical research revealed the most startling discovery. The physiological changes they had observed were not random, they were purposeful. Humanity was being prepared for a quantum leap in evolution, a bridge between their current state of existence and something far more complex. Dr. Konstantin Volkov, who had spent decades guarding secrets of cosmic encounters, realized this was the moment he had both anticipated and feared. "We are not alone," he told Elena, "and we never have been." The artifact began to project a comprehensive narrative, not through words, but through a language of pure information. It showed glimpses of civilizations beyond human comprehension, cosmic cycles of creation and transformation, and a universe far more intricate than any previous scientific model had suggested. Humanity's collective consciousness seemed to pause. Military installations, scientific laboratories, government centers, all watched in stunned silence as the artifact revealed its true purpose. It was not a weapon. It was not a message. It was an invitation. An invitation to evolve. The genetic modifications that had been slowly progressing in the research team began to manifest globally. People worldwide started experiencing heightened cognitive abilities, increased empathy, and a profound connection to something larger than themselves. Elena understood now. The artifact was a catalyst, a cosmic mechanism designed to help emerging civilizations transcend their current limitations. It had chosen humanity at this precise moment in their developmental trajectory. "We're being given a choice," Elena realized, addressing the international committee that had gathered virtually. "A choice to remain as we are, or to become something more." The final projection was both terrifying and beautiful. It showed humanity not as a singular species, but as a potential cosmic intelligence. Their current form was just a beginning, a chrysalis waiting to emerge into something far more magnificent. Marcus discovered the artifact's ultimate revelation. It was not from a single civilization, but a collective project of multiple advanced species, a way of seeding potential across the universe, helping emerging intelligences break through their evolutionary barriers. As the transformation reached its peak, the artifact began to dissolve, not physically, but energetically. Its information, its purpose, had been transferred. Humanity was now carrying the next stage of its own evolution. Dr. Volkov approached Elena in the final moments. "Some will fear this," he said. "Others will embrace it." Elena looked out over the Atacama Desert, watching as the landscape itself seemed to shimmer with new potential. "We're not ending," she said softly. "We're beginning." The world would never be the same. Humanity stood at the threshold of a new understanding, no longer confined to a single planet, a single perspective, or a single way of being. The cosmic invitation had been accepted.